please make sure that you finish the 6-minute Edpuzzle called Punnett Squares first. When you have completed your Punnett Squares, the second link entitled Genetics Monsters Google Sheet will take you to this page. There is a set of instructions up here at the top of the page, and there is a link for a coin flipper. If you don't have a coin to flip, you can use the one linked right here in the assignment. What you're going to be doing is flipping the coin to determine the genotype or the genes of the monster that you're making. So, for example, for the first flip, mine is Tails, and I look up here and it tells me up here that Tails is a recessive or lowercase letter. So my letter over here is C, so I'll put a lowercase letter since Tails is recessive. I'll flip again for the other parent. We have one gene from mom and one gene from dad. Dad passed on heads. That's a dominant gene according to the instructions up here. Dominant genes are represented by capital letters, it says. So I'll put a capital letter. That means that the genotype is one of each. You'll need to put the capital first. When you press enter after your genotype, the monster will begin to fill itself in. It is purple because purple is dominant. So the phenotype is purple. We'll continue to flip for these traits. When it's tails, it's going to be a lowercase letter. When it's heads, it's going to be an uppercase letter. This time we're going for eye color. So the letter is E. Tails is a lowercase letter. It's recessive. We'll flip again for the other parent. Again, it's E for eye color. Heads is dominant, so it's uppercase. The genotype is capital E, lowercase e. Don't put the lowercase first. If you put lowercase first, like that, it won't work. It has to be the uppercase letter first. That's just how the sheet is set up, and the eyes will appear. And since this capital letter is dominant, green is dominant, so he has green eyes. You'll continue going through the Google Sheet for each of these traits, remembering that heads is a capital letter and that tails is a lowercase letter. In this case, the genotype is capital. Capital is long horns. As you are filling out this assignment, there is a second sheet that's filling itself in as well. And on this second sheet, it's filling in this part of the Punnett square, the two parents. The one parent is the offspring that you made. These are being filled in on the side. And then we're mating what the offspring that you made in the first sheet with another monster so that we're making a new offspring. So you'll fill in the Punnett square just like today's Edpuzzle taught you to. The red square is this one and this one, so lowercase c. This purple square is this one and this one. Kind of reminds me of a multiplication chart. Do you remember their multiplication charts? This one lines up with this letter and lines up with that letter, so it's capital lowercase. And this blue one lines up with this letter and this letter, so it's capital lowercase. And then how do we know for our genotype which one of these boxes? We click the flippity spinner, and the flippity spinner will allow us to spin the wheel to determine which box. And it is the red one. So the red box is lowercase c, and lowercase c from the first sheet is recessive, so it's blue. And this one also fills itself in. filling out the Punnett square, the red one lines up with this letter and this letter, one capital and one lowercase. Put the capital first. This one is one lower and one uppercase. Oops, this one and this one go here. This one lines up with these two uppercase, like a multiplication chart. And this one lines up with two uppercase, like a multiplication chart. And then which one is our offspring going to be? We'll do the flippity spinner, and it will pick a color for us. In this case, it's purple. So in our Punnett square, the purple one was this one. So the eye color was dominant because it had a capital letter. Capital always wins. So green eyes. And you'll continue to fill in the Punnett square and to pick the flippity spinner until all of the traits are filled in for this offspring. This one is red, so it's capital H, and that was what was dominant in horns. Long horns was dominant. Long horns. After you have finished all of the Punnett squares, as the Edpuzzle taught you to do, you'll go to the next link in Google Classroom. If it's still up, it is called Zergel-Fluben Genetics. This one is the same idea. You're still flipping a coin to determine the genotype, and then you're looking to see what the letters represent for phenotype. So genotype is the letters, and phenotype is whether it's short, round, and furry, or tall, thin, and slimy, etc., etc. And in this last assignment, this is where you draw your own creature here.